The La Verne Police Department investigated a series of threats that initially targeted a student group affiliated with the University of La Verne and student members of the group. A series of 9 additional incidents followed the initial threat that occurred on February 28, 2019. Most of these threats were delivered electronically via emails or text. At one point, the threats escalated to a point where the University of La Verne canceled classes for a day to reset and deal with the threats. After an extensive investigation, the La Verne Police Department's Detective Bureau presented the case to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for filing criminal charges. On March 6, 2020, the suspect, Anayeli Dominguez Pena, was charged with following crimes, and a warrant for her arrest was issued. The charges include felony criminal threats, felony perjury, filing false claim for state victim compensation benefits, and also some misdemeanors for internet electronic impersonation, and 6 counts of filing false police reports. The suspect is a former student at the University of La Verne, and she was one of the leaders of the student group that was threatened. The threats were directed at the University of La Verne, the student group herself, and members of the group. The investigation concluded that the suspect acted alone and no other members of the student group were involved with the criminal acts. One of the victims associated with these cases was another student leader of the threatened group, who did not appear to have any knowledge of the suspect's actions. Other victims associated with this case are a fraternity at the University of La Verne and a fraternity's president. The initial and subsequent threats used the logo of the fraternity and identifiers of the fraternity president to focus suspicion on the fraternity and its president. Throughout this investigation, no evidence was found linking the fraternity to any of its members of these crimes. The suspect was arrested without incident, and she is currently being booked into the Los Angeles County jail system and has a bail set at $200,000. This investigation involved retrieval and analysis of a large quantity of digital data and could not have been completed without the help of our allied agencies. The Los Angeles County District Attorney Bureau of Investigation's High-Tech Crime Unit and their Computer Forensic Unit provided guidance and support during this investigation. The Santa Clara Police Department and the Silicon Valley Rapid Enforcement Allied Computer Team, known as REACT, also provided guidance and technical support during the investigation. If you have any questions, I will take any questions at this time. Just be aware that there might be some questions I may not be able to answer.
Chief, what was the motive behind this? What was the reasoning?
Well, I think she was trying to instigate some racial issues within the university, but that's to be determined later on if this case does go to court.
Chief, did she set her own vehicle on fire?
That we can't prove either way, so we don't have a comment on that.
Chief,
Yes.
you said that she's potentially trying to stir up racial animus within the university. What, evidence have you seen that indicates that?
Well, she was sending messages to certain fraternities and using the fraternity's logos and the president's logos for that specific fraternity, and just the comments that were being sent were of a racial nature.
Excuse me, Chief. Was it just the fraternities that were victims in this case, or what other groups were circulated in this?
Well, Detective Nishimura, which was the lead investigator, just could answer some of those questions.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So the victims in this case are the University of La Verne. They did have to close their university for one whole day. The members of a fraternity on campus and their president, who were targeted as the threats were made to make it look like it came from the fraternity and or its presidents, and also members of a social justice group that the suspect was involved in, who was in fear for her safety and her life.
Detective, if I'm not mistaken, did she graduate last year?
I'm not sure if she graduated. I know she's no longer affiliated with the University of La Verne.
Offhand, do you know the exact date of the classes were closed?
They were closed within the first week of the first threat, and the first threat was February 28th, 2019.
There was also an attack associated with this in one of the dorms. Do you have any information on that?
Yeah, that's one of the, there was a total of 10 incidents involving the suspect that was reported to the Verne Police Department, and we could not neither prove nor deny that that attack took place. So it's a suspicious circumstances still.
Was she the alleged victim of the attack?
I can't comment on that, but she was involved in it. Yes.
Was there like a escalation where like the threat started out as kind of, you know, not as not as threatening or not as credible versus, you know, how they escalated now to her being
At the time the threats were made, the threats were credible to the victims involved. They were serious enough that within the initial threat, within days of the initial threat, the university closed to take a pause. And they were serious enough that after the first day after the first threat was made, the university made a safety plan for a couple of victims that were involved.
How were you able to track it back down to her specifically? Like, what did you guys use? What technology did you use?
So again, we used, there was a lot of digital evidence involved. There's computer files, there's cell phone data, there's things that are on the cloud, there's all kinds of different evidence that we use. There's an extremely large amount of evidence that we had to try and obtain, and that's where our partners at the District Attorney's Office, the Bureau of Investigation, helped us make a roadmap of where we could find this investigation and what information we should be looking for. And then again, the Santa Clara Police Department and the Silicon Valley REACT team helped us obtain the information and decrypt some of the information, because the headquarters for a lot of the computer cyber people are up in the Silicon Valley.
This may be a question for the DA, but what consequences? What can she face?
So the charges that are filed right now, there's a state prison time and a fine.
Yes, it says that she is accused of filing a false claim for state victim compensation benefits. What does that mean?
So the California Victims Compensation Board has a victim assistance program for victims that are people who are victims of crime in the state of California. And they give you grants or reimburse you for any of your expenses that include relocation, security systems, if you have medical bills, if you need counseling, and each claim is good up to $70,000. In this instance, we found that the suspect that we arrested applied for benefits, signed forms under penalty of perjury, and tried to get the victim's compensation benefits from the state.
Would that have been a motive?
I don't know what's in her mind, but that was after the initial threats were made.
Did you guys take her to have a psychologist review some of these?
No, we don't know what her status is right now. She's getting processed to get booked into the Los Angeles County Jail system.
Did she not also make accusations against the staff over there, if I remember correctly?
The question is, did she make accusations against
Yeah.
the staff of where?
At the University of La Verne. If I'm not mistaken, I thought she was also responsible for saying that there was inappropriate comments made about her hair. Is that correct, Ron? You know that? Is that the same student we're talking about her?
So-
talk after.
So
Well, I'd like to get you in front of all our cameras, you know. because
So she was a member of a student organization that was protesting some injustices that they felt against the university. So she and one of the other victims were members of that group.
Okay.
You see there are 6 counts of false police report. What are the 6 counts?
So it's 6 of the different incidents that were reported. So there was a total of 10 incidents that the subject was involved in, and we chose 6 of them that were, we had a lot of evidence that would support the false police report charge.
Can you say what they are?
they're making a false police report. It's,
And going back to the vehicle again, because that's when all the media showed up, there was a fire inside that vehicle inside of a backpack. Do you believe at this time she purposely was responsible for setting that backpack on fire, or was that just a coincidence?
I can't comment on that, but we can neither prove nor disprove that a fire happened. But that was one of the incidents that led to the escalating seriousness of all the incidents that were involved.
You said through via emails and texts that they were communicating, but also like, were there other social media aspects that fell into play in this case?
There were a lot of social media outlets or different apps that I can't disclose at this time, but again, in this day and age with cyber crimes, there's a million ways to contact with people via irregular texting on a phone, or there's several apps that are available out there that you can communicate with, and then also through the various social media platforms and email.
And do you know if these accounts are still active or have been suspended, left a digital footprint, like anything?
I can't comment on that.
Detective, did you get a confession from her? Did she admit to any of this stuff?
I have not talked to her. At this point, she's retained an attorney.
Was the car, did the car belong to her that had that fire?
Yes.
And are there aspects of this case that are still under investigation?
So this case has been investigated, charges have been filed. Unless we find anything new or more information comes forth, the charges that are filed are the ones that we're going to pursue.
So no one else?
So as the press release states, throughout this investigation, we did not find any other person or persons involved with the crimes that were charged.
So thank you everybody for being here. We're gonna, before we wrap up, I just want to thank everybody for one, coming in, and two, this is a severely extensive case for us. The resources that we had to put into this since February of last year have been extensive and quite costly. So as mentioned, the digital evidence that was retrieved was extremely time consuming and involved a lot of search warrants. So we'd like to thank the entire community's patience in waiting for this day for the resolve, and the entire staff and all of the students at the university, because they were very concerned about what was going on. And as you know, we can't release all this information until we make an arrest. So we do want to thank everybody for their patience.